turn that on in a minute. Well, I want to take a minute to introduce our guests today. Our speakers are from SUU. First we have Kristy deGraaf, and we also have Kathy Wyatt. Kristy, I think, is going to speak to us first. And I just have a little bio for her I wanted to give you guys. She is thrilled to be part of the team and the amazing work at the center. Kristy has been advocating for work with children for the past 20 years. And you guys, I should have said, these guys are here with the Sorenson Legacy Foundation Center for Hope at SUU, in case you didn't know that. I think most of you did. They were here last year, and we just wanted to welcome them back to get an update. I have that she is passionate about creating environments where children can play, grow, feel loved, accepted, and thrive. Kristy loves studying relationships and personal development and is excited to bring her vision, expertise, and enthusiasm to SUU. Kristy received her bachelor's degree in psychology and her master's degree in professional communication from SUU, and she is a T-bird through and through. She previously worked as a social service worker for Child and Family Services and has owned and operated her own family child care program for the past 13 years. In 2014, she received the National Child Care Teacher of the Year Award from Children's Tylenol and the Terry Lynn Lokoff Child Care Foundation in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is also a trainer for Care About Child Care and has served on various volunteer boards and organizations locally and at a state level. On a personal note, she loves yoga, playing the piano, traveling, listening to audible books and podcasts, and she and her husband Joey are the parents of 4 really great kids. They love camping, community theater, road trips, biking, and movie nights together. Then Kathy, let me give you a quick little bio on her. I think most of you know her as well. She served as the chair of the steering committee for the Sorenson Legacy Foundation Center for Hope. She recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in early childhood development and volunteers at the center teaching music to 4-year-olds. That's it. That is an admirable job, and I'm sure very gratifying. In her free time, she enjoys trying new recipes in her Instapot, hiking, and playing the drums. She has 4 children as well, and 4 grandchildren whom she adores. So I will turn the time over to Kristy and Kathy, and we'll go from there.
It's fun to be here because I actually know a lot of you, so that is a lot of fun. While she's getting this signed up and set up for me, I thought that note that you shared about juvenile delinquents was really interesting, actually, because they've done a lot of research on investing in early childhood, and they've found a lot of different numbers, but some people say that an investment in early childhood saves up to 8 times that amount later for children that did not have that investment. So, all right, we are here to give you kind of an update on the center and what the Rotary Club donation did for the kids in our program, and we are so excited about it. I love this quote: "A room without books is like a body without a soul." And it's been fun as we've gotten started to start pulling out all of these amazing books that we were able to purchase with your donation and put them into the center and just watch how they have kind of lit up the space. This, I think, is a very powerful quote as well. "Reading should not be presented to children as a chore or as a duty. It should be offered as a gift." And we have just been so grateful for that gift from the Rotary Club. As I was, kind of searching through my things, trying to find find things for this presentation, I couldn't get it to load on this program, but you would be amazed the impact that books and reading and what that can do for a relationship with a child. I have so many fun, cute little videos of children reading, even just little toddlers, but that doesn't come because they know how to read. That comes because they've had that chance to sit down with someone who cares about them and to feel the love and care and relationship My teacher was sitting right there. She's like, I don't want to be in the picture. So I was respectful of that. But so for those of you that don't know, Rotary Club donated $10,000 for us to build our library and to bring reading into the classroom. So in this, we did that in a couple of different ways. This particular classroom, we have lots of different ages, and so this particular classroom is a sort of a toddler age. I've been doing childcare for a long time, and I've tried a lot of different solutions for books. And so what we wanted to do was something that was comfortable and kept the books accessible. So we kind of got these little benches with the book things on the back for some of our younger classrooms. We ultimately spent $7,500 on books. We were able to purchase over 600 books with that money, and we did a lot of different sorts of things with that money. Now, I will tell you, I got hired in April, and one of the first things I found out was that we had this money to spend, and I was so excited. I'm not sure what to compare it to, but for an early childhood person to have $10,000 at a time to spend on books, it's like a dream come true. And so I spent hours and hours and hours compiling lists, going through my personal library, looking for my favorite books, reading recommendations and reviews on Amazon to make sure I got good high quality books. We purchased a lot of different types of books. We, of course, made sure that we had a good variety of board books for our little ones, like you saw in that picture there. We bought a couple of copies of this one, especially. This is actually one of the first books I bought for my daughter when we were new parents. And it's got all of these textures and just different fun things. So we got a good selection of board books. We got a lot of your classic sort of picture books and made sure that we had books for different themes and seasons and topics. This has been a favorite at my house. This is my husband's favorite book from childhood and is always a big hit with the kids.
What's the title?
This is called The Monster at the End of This Book. And while we're on the topic, maybe I'll just read a little bit of it to you, because this has also been compared, or named as like the book of 2020, right? Like the theme of 2020. And I think you'll see why.
You need help with the mic.
I think I can do it. Okay. The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable furry old Grover. Hello, everybody, he says. This is by John Stone, and it's illustrated by Michael Smolin. What did that say? On the first page, what did that say? Did that say there would be a monster at the end of this book? It did. Oh, I'm so scared of monsters. Shh. Okay, listen, I have an idea. If you do not turn any pages, we will never get to the end of this book. 2020, we will never get to the end of this year. And that is good, because there is a monster at the end of this book. So please don't turn the page of the calendar. You don't turn the page! Maybe you do not understand. You see, turning pages will bring us to the end of this book, and there is a monster at the end of this book. But this will stop you from turning pages. See, I am tying the pages together, so you cannot. You turned another page! You do not know what you are doing to me. Now stop turning pages. There. I, Grover, am nailing this page to the next one so that you will not be able to turn it, and we will not get any closer to the monster at the end of this book. All right. Do you know that every time you turn this page, you not only get us closer to the monster at the end of this page, but you make a terrible mess? This will stop
unfiltered pages. A heavy, thick, solid, strong brick wall. I would just like to see you try to turn this page. Should we turn the page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know that you are very strong? You are very strong. The next page is the end of this book, and there is a monster at the end of this book. I am so scared. Please do not turn the page. Please, please, please. Well, look at that. This is the end of this book, and the only one here is me. Lovable furry old Grover and the monster at the end of this book. And you were so scared. I told you there was nothing to be afraid of. Oh, I am so embarrassed.
Kind of a fun story about this book. My very favorite anniversary date. We had only been married probably 5 years, and we decided to go to the bookstore for our anniversary date, and we each picked out our favorite book for our kids. And my husband bought that one, and I bought Tiki Tiki Tembo. Has anybody heard that one?
Oh, Tiki Tiki Tambo no Sarembo Charibari Luchi Pipperi Bembo.
Has fallen into the well.
I used to read that at the bank.
Yes.
Boy.
Super fun. See, but that's the power of books, right? Like, I love it. So that's kind of a fun story. So we got lots of those fun sort of things. We got some very, very beautiful wordless books, which, you know, you think wordless books, what in the world? But here, what did
Yeah.
Wordless books provide a different experience for kids, right? So this one's all about chalk. But you provide and that's all you get, Chalk by Bill Thompson. Okay, so what's going on here? And you get to talk with the kids, and you get them to be able to develop the language. And they get to tell the story however they want. And the illustrations in this book are beautiful. So here's the sun. I wish I had time to just sit and read you all these books. But anyway, and it ends up, you know, that there's a dinosaur, and so we have these wordless books. We also made sure intentionally that we got, and this one had some in it as well, but intentionally that we got books with a lot of diversity. Because, you know, we live in a place that maybe doesn't have naturally a lot of inherent diversity, and we want kids to experience different people at different places and to see different things and to know and have seen, you know, that people are different, and that's okay, and to be able to have those conversations. And so we made sure that we got books with a lot of diversity. We made sure we got books that talked about emotions and gave children a chance to do that. We got lots of books, several books about yoga and mindfulness. I'm a big fan of yoga, and so, you know, we got board books on yoga and lots of different stories about that. We actually were able to purchase some yoga mats and have kind of a little mini yoga studio area. Sorry, they're falling off the page, or off the thing, so I'm going to stick them over there. We purchased some chapter books, and I had somebody ask, well, why are you purchasing chapter books for preschool age children? I'll tell you, one of my favorite things is to read my favorite stories to children as they go to sleep. Because it's well documented that the more language that children hear, the better that they'll do later academically. And these books provide a different sort of language experience than they'll get with a lot of picture books. Plus, it's a lot of fun. Plus, you can honestly say there's no pictures. Close your eyes. We got, after we kind of got through our list of very favorite books that we wanted to order, and we got a lot of children's books, we decided to order some resource books for our teachers as well. We have a lot of new teachers, a lot of children that are teachers that are new to working in a large group early childhood setting. We have a lot of college students, and for me personally, a lot of the books that we were able to purchase were life-changing for me. I remember when I first started doing childcare, I had been a social worker for 6 years. I had 2 children, I had a degree. I felt like I was gonna be really awesome, and my childcare was gonna be really great. And when I first, started to have kids come into my home, I was frankly very overwhelmed, and the setting was very new to me, and it was really, really challenging. And I remember at one point I applied again back for a job with DCFS because I remember thinking, gosh, like I had wanted to be home with my kids, but I was like, I was a better working mom. I should just go back to work. But what I ended up doing instead was really diving into a lot of these books and a lot of these resources to try and figure out, okay, so what I thought I knew and what I thought I had wasn't necessarily working and translating the way that I thought it would. So how can I adjust? And so we bought a lot of these sorts of books for our teachers to use and to have access to. This is just another fun example so we have theory books, we have how do you tell stories, and we have, this one's just full of random activities that you can do with preschoolers. So we were able to get a huge variety of books. When all was said and done, we, like I said, we purchased over 600 books with that money. And you can see this is the library now as we have it. Originally, I was just gonna purchase the shelves for this wall, and then I ended up thinking, oh, well, we'll probably expand, we'll do, so I ended up purchasing shelves for both walls, and that was a really good thing because almost every single one of them is full. We spent the remainder of the money on shelving and then support for that. I love this quote. What is a bookshelf other than a treasure chest for a curious mind? I remember when I was a kid. Actually, I just remembered this. So I had 2 sets of grandparents, and I don't know about you, but we always had does everybody have the favorite grandma and then the one that's a little bit more grouchy, right? Yeah. Okay. So my mom's mom was the favorite grandma, right? But my dad's mom was a school teacher, and she had rows and rows and rows and rows of books downstairs in her basement, including the whole set of the Babysitter's Club, which was fabulous. And then a bunch of romance novels. I think I picked one of those up once and I was like, Grandma. So we purchased a variety of shelving. This is another shot of the upstairs library. So we were able to find this cute little nook upstairs where we put the shelves with our entire library on them. And then in addition, we also purchased shelving for each of the classrooms. You saw the one that was a little bench that is in some of the younger classrooms. We have a couple of those. This is the one we bought for the preschool downstairs, and it holds it holds a lot more books. And then this is one we bought for a couple of the classrooms that has those forward-facing books so children can see their choices and see what's available, and then it has some room. So the book shelving is on 2 sides, and then these other shelves are on the other 2 sides, and you can add, there's some puppets in there, you can add other things related to literacy, or it can just be additional supply storage. In addition, okay, this was brand new for me, I have to tell you, because I've been a family child care provider for 13 years. My husband is my maintenance man, which means, nothing ever gets done. Bless his heart. You guys that know him, he is amazing. He also works for SU Athletics, and he's just never home. So that's how that goes.
But, you know, like, I'm the cook and the janitor and the library organizer, so which means my library has never been organized. So when we started this project, the library said, bring us all the books. In fact, bring us all the books, all the new books, send us your list, we'll order all the new books, give us all of your previous books. The preschool had a collection of books as well that they sent over to them, and they covered and cataloged and organized and cleaned and did everything for us in this library that ultimately ended up being over 1,700 books. We also were intentional about the spaces that we created in the classrooms, and made sure that every classroom not only had the bookshelves and the books, but then cozy spaces for reading. Again, just another quote, reading gives us someplace to go when we have to stay where we are, which is like the entire year of 2020. But you can just see the different sorts of spaces that we created in the classroom to make sure that we had places they could go and snuggle up with the book. Some of the other things I didn't show, we make sure we purchased floor seats for every classroom so that the teachers have someplace comfortable to sit and read. A lot of the classrooms have rockers or chairs that they can sit with the kids, bean bags, that sort of thing, just making it very comfortable, inviting space. And I think, I can't remember if I shared this quote already, but a book is a gift you can open again and again, and that's by Garrison Keillor. And we just want to say that we are so thankful for the gift from the Rotary Club, and will, this will impact children for years and years and years to come, and children and their caregivers, and we're just infinitely grateful for that gift. And with that, I will turn the rest of the time over to Kathy.
Okay, thank you, Kristy. Can you see how lucky we are to have her at the center? She's fabulous. And I want to echo her gratitude for your donation of books. I know we sent a letter of thanks, but I just want to personally thank you for that. That just was beyond our expectations, and as she said, will affect lives for generations. I was asked to just explain why the center that used to be the Sorenson Legacy Foundation Child and Family Development Center has been changed to the Center for Hope. And I'll be as brief as possible. So 4 years ago, at our first steering committee meeting, I asked the non-traditional student coordinator to bring a student with her, a single mother who would share her story about how difficult it was to pay for full-time childcare. And that's when I first met Elena Johnson. She was 39 years old and a mother of 4 children. Elena told us that the same day she found out she was pregnant with her 4th child was the day she discovered her husband was addicted to drugs. She had no idea. She pled with him to get help, but he refused. He gave her a hug and a kiss and said, "You'll be fine," and he left. And she didn't see him until she had the baby, and then only briefly. Elena had been a stay-at-home mother for 13 years, and though she had her associate's degree, she had no real marketable skills. She cried for weeks and eventually realized that wasn't helping. So she didn't want to be on government assistance the rest of her life. So she went to the campus and talked to an advisor who helped her enroll in school. Her baby was born at the end of her first semester, and she told us, "My baby girl came to me at the darkest time of my life, with the Christmas holiday season in full swing, and with the circumstances of my life being so desperate, I named her Hope, because nothing else fit. My faith had been shattered, and as I gathered what I could to rebuild, I was only left with a hope of something better. I don't know that anyone could understand unless they had lost everything as I had. The love of my life had left me. I had no money, no job. Losing the house was inevitable. I felt crushed and abandoned. Panic attacks and depression were a daily part of my life. It was the darkest time I had ever experienced. And yet, in that darkness, I was growing a life within me. The only thing I had left was hope for better days. This baby gave me the strength and courage to continue what I started. She was the physical embodiment of the spark of hope I felt in my heart. When she finished sharing her story, many of us were in tears. We knew that Elena was only one of many students who desperately needed help. From that day on, Elena and her daughter Hope became our poster children for the Child Care Project. And despite her busy schedule, Elena served on the steering committee and shared her story over and over. In fact, I think she shared it here probably 3 years ago. She talked to potential donors, newspaper reporters, and even was interviewed on Channel 4 TV. The amazing thing is she did all of this even though she knew she would never personally benefit from the Child Care Center. Last year I was discussing her incredibly unselfish service with my husband, and that's when we came up with the idea of changing the name of the center to the Center for Hope. We spoke with the lead donors who loved the name and thought it was very fitting. The fun thing is Elena had no idea until she helped unveil the sign 2 weeks ago at our ribbon cutting. This name not only gives us a chance to honor Elena, but also describes the mission of the center because it offers hope to student parents that they can finish their schooling and create a better future for themselves and their children. And this is her daughter Hope right here, who is 6 years old now. So that's the story. Again, thank you for your wonderful donations and being concerned about helping with this project and making a difference in the lives of our student parents and their children. And thanks for having us here.